Alright, so today we're going to be tying the infamous Adam's fly. So I'm going to be tying it with hackle wings, two different hackles, which is the cinnamon and the grizzly hackle. One of my favorite things about this fly is it's a very good northern fly. I fish this always when I'm up north in Maine. I'll be heading to Canada this year. I'm sure I'll be fishing it a lot there. It's a very good nighttime fly, so when you get those last light hits, when you can barely see, you almost need a light to see the water sometimes. This is a great fly for that. It's a very low light hatching fly, and the fish love them. So the hook I'm going to be tying with today is your standard Daiichi size 14 dry fly hook. And the thread I'm going to be tying with today is a size 6.0. Actually, it's like a blue dun color. You're not really going to be seeing this. This is just what's going to be, you're only going to see it on the tie off, and it's nice because it's a little bit more hidden. So to start off this fly, I'm actually going to be putting my tail on. Okay, then you can go ahead and take the biggest piece of hackle you can find off your neck. And the thing I like about this natural cinnamon neck is since it's not dyed, it still has that black right underneath your turned cinnamon. So the thing I like about that is it gives it a pretty nice natural look. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some fibers off, and I'm going to make it just a tiny bit bigger than the hook shank, which is going to allow some of that black to come out, which I really like the look of. Okay, so once you got your tail on, I'm going to tie right back up to the head here, about 4 eyelets lengths behind. And you can go ahead and you're going to take your white hackle and you're going to take very identical mid-size hackle fibers. Okay, so I got 2 identical hackles, and what you're going to do is you can see how they kind of curve one way. Right, you can see how they kind of curve. You're going to go ahead and split them apart so it makes a bit of a V, and that's going to get your natural wing look. You want to measure your wings to about the same size as your hook shank. You can go ahead and bring it up to where your thread is. You can go ahead and tie it off. And once I get about 2 eyelets length behind the eyelet, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lift my hackle wings out of the way. And you can see how it leaves a bit of hackle fibers sticking out there. That's just the natural hackle fibers coming out. You can go ahead and trim that before you tie it off, just so it's not sticking out in front of your eyelet and it's annoying in the future. Okay, now that I got my wings on, I can go ahead and I can trim that excess hackle off right about the mid body, because what that's gonna help you do is get that really nice tapered look. Okay, and now that I have a bit of a body shape for my dubbing, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take some Adam's gray dubbing here, and you're just gonna make it's a super fine, which is really nice for dry flies, because you can make very small dubbing noodles out of it, which is your dubbing strip. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make that dubbing strip as small as possible since I already made the size of my body, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it. And once I get about an eyelet's length behind the wings is when you're going to go ahead and attach your hackle. And I'm going to take my grizzly hackle. What you're going to do with your hackles is just to make it easier to tie onto. You're going to go ahead and you're going to peel off those bottom 5 or 6 fibers to kind of give you that naked hackle stem, and you can go ahead and thread those on. Now that I have that on, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put a very tiny dubbing noodle on, just enough to cover up that one spot where the hackle is tied on, and it's going to go ahead and give the hackle a nice base to wrap onto, and you can wrap in front of the wings. You can settle down right there in front of the wings, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap my cinnamon hackle around. And you don't want to do too many wraps with one, because you want to give the other one some room. Okay, now that I have both my hackles on, you can go and peel them back and you can just trim them right there. Okay, and you can kind of see that little naked spot right there in front of the hackle. That is where I'm going to tie off. And just like that, you've got your hackle tip Adam's wings with a nice, your classic 2-color tone hackle wrap. You can go ahead and add that to your box.